Hey everybody, I am Dominic Foppoli, Mayor of Windsor, California. Another episode of Dining. Wow, meals with the mayor.
We've only done like 500 of them. It's meals with the mayors, but don't let my buddy, who's had to do quite a bit of heavy lifting back there in the 12-ounce glass form. Meals with the mayor, Dom. Where are we?
I was going to steal your show from you. Meals with the mayor. It's not even. It's actually Ciders with the mayor. We are at an amazing local cidery, Tilted Shed. My co-host, as always, as you can tell, is the famous or infamous Guy Fieri, Windsor resident mayor of Flavortown. Guy, take it away.
Well, I love the name Tilted Shed, and when we start talking about cider, we've had our trends of ciders being on, we've had our trends of ciders being off. We know that we come from great cider country up here and great apple country, but tell me what's going on at the Tilted Shed and how things started and what's the big impact on cider these days?
Well, the way we started, my wife and I started this company, it was basically a hobby gone wild. We were making it at home. We were brewing our own beer and making growing our own food as much as we could, stuff like that. We lived in a place with a lot of apples. So we thought, let's make some cider out of this and see how it does. Turned out great. We loved it. Hobby kind of took over. We became obsessed with different apple varieties, learning out all the different kinds and what they added, to the flavor of the cider. There are cider cultures around the world, England, France, Spain, that have just amazing products that are completely different than anything we could find here. So we wanted to sort of go that direction and see what kind of different apples made different, produce different flavors. That said, we use all local apples here. It's 100%. We press everything ourselves right here at this beautiful warehouse in Windsor. It's too bad we can't be on an orchard, beautiful bucolic setting, but it is what it is. We do what we can. But that said, yeah, we all local apples, 100%. Most of them sourced within about 20 miles from here. Occasionally we get a little bit from Santa Cruz or in Watsonville because we have a friend down there who has an orchard. But other than that, and we do it all right here. The apples come in, we press them, we ferment it, bottle it, can it. It all happens right here.
Let's get right into this. How long have you been doing it now?
Since 2011 is when we formed the company.
I love it. Well, here's the thing. And what I was trying to allude to on the cider game is I think people had an idea of what ciders are. And I think there were some mass-produced ciders. We're talking about artisan ciders here. We're talking, just like you were giving us that example of all the different countries and all the different cultures and all the great ciders that are made. We've only had just kind of like a blip of what was really going on. And now that the cider explosion is happening, and again, we have it in our own backyard here in Windsor, I think is so fantastic. Give me what are the top 5 ciders and what are the profiles? I don't know what you said over to Dom, but he's got a big smile on his face. What are the top ones that you're doing?
The top ones that we're doing, well, this is the one that he's holding right now is called Still Standing. It's our second can cider. It's really cool nowadays. There are mobile canners that can come around and can for us. So we can do fairly small batches because we do everything in very small batches relative to a lot of the wineries around here. Other cideries, like you mentioned, there are mass-produced ciders. Our biggest batch might be only 80 cases or something, and these days that's a lot.
And so this handcrafted right there.
Yeah, super handcrafted. This can cider that he has is called Still Standing. It's an homage to the old local orchards that used to be just super numerous. Say back in the 60s, you look at aerial photographs and it was almost all apple orchards with some vineyards speckled in, and now it's the other way around. But yet those apple trees are still there. They're old and they're withered and the centers are hollow, but they're still surviving. There's still a lot of apple farmers out there taking care of them. So this one's kind of an homage to that, and so it has the main apples that are grown around here, which is the Gravenstein, the Golden Delicious, the Rome, a little bit of Jonathan in there. There's probably a little bit of Newtown Pippin in there. Just sort of the typical apples, nothing too fancy and exotic like the European ciders.
It's nice because you can keep your price point. You use what's local, you use what's inside of your footprint, and you can keep your costs down, support local farmers. When folks come down there to Tilted Shed, can they see production?
We can give them a tiny tour. I mean, our place is literally 2,000 square feet, so you can see the whole thing standing in one place. But when people come into the tasting room when it's open, we're happy to walk them around and point at stuff and answer questions. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I love to do. Just explain to people how we make it. You know, all the different steps.
So much passion in the project. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening right now. People are able to come and do curbside pickup.
That's right. Currently, we're doing Fridays, curbside pickup and free local delivery within a tight radius, sort of Santa Rosa, Windsor, Sebastopol, maybe a little bit of Healdsburg. Yeah, just go to our website, tiltedshed.com, and it's easy to order. We also ship across the country, so you can find all those choices right there.
What is that, Dom? I want that. What is that?
So that is called Love's Labor. It's a seasonal one that we do. On our farm, we have about 5.5 acres. About 2 of it is planted to apples, and it's ringed almost all the way around by blackberries, really thick blackberries. Everybody who's local here knows the ones I'm talking about. They're Himalayan blackberries. Turns out you co-ferment those with apples, and it's just delicious. So that cider is made with blackberries from our farm, and local apples from the other local farms. So we hand pick. I think this last season I was able to get something like 92 pounds of blackberries, hand-picked, mostly by me, some by my wife and son.
Remember when you were a kid picking blackberries and selling them to the neighbors? Did you ever do that?
I did not. No, we didn't have blackberries growing up.
I grew up in Northern California, much more up in a little town called Ferndale. And we would go when you needed money. You'd go and pick, and we'd pick them in the I don't know what size, like a 1 quart, Cool Whip container or something. And we'd pick them and go sell them to. We knew the grandmas in town that would buy them, and I think it was like $2 you got or something. But your fingers were worked.
Something.
Guy, I got to give him some credit for this. I'm somewhat of a cider geek. I love it. I've always been a fan of especially like the British ciders. I think that what's happened, especially with a lot of the big commercial corporate store shelf stuff, is that it's sweet. And if anybody who's in alcohol knows that sweetness covers up imperfection. You're fermenting this almost to dry. I mean, you've got such a depth of flavor, and it's that little bit of bitterness, but in a good way, which I absolutely love with this. And then I'm not realizing, how is he fermenting it to dry? It's 9% alcohol.
That's right.
Quite a kick with this, which is amazing.
We take what the apples give us. Yeah, and like you said, we ferment most of our stuff to dry. What you're drinking right there's actually a little bit of residual sugar, maybe 0.8% or less, and that's the sweetest thing that we do right there. So everything else is going to be a lot drier than that. And yeah, we try to press the apples in individual batches, then we ferment them and taste them, and from there we blend them based on what they're tasting like.
You should have a big warning label here, though, because this is just amazing. The blackberry and apple, they're like, I could drink a bottle. It's like apple juice. It's almost 10% alcohol.
Couldn't be done. You drink
danger. Yeah.
Now listen, I love. I'm such a fan of living here in Northern California, and this is where I've lived my whole life. And I love the artistry. I love when people are taking what is their passion and then turning it into a business. And this is a perfect example. And Windsor's so blessed to have you. And I was just telling my wife moments ago, I said, we've lived up here since August. We lived in Sonoma County for 23 years. And in our little, in our backyard practically, where you can ride your bike to, you're finding so many of these hidden treasures that Windsor has. And you, my friend, definitely have a hidden treasure. I can't wait until this quarantine is up for so many reasons. I want to come down. I want a full tour in the 2,000 square feet, and I want to try it all. And Dom, right now you are you are living the life, my friend. That nobody gets to be the coolest mayor like you.
All right. We can't wait to see you, Guy. We can't wait to see you. Yeah.
Well, we will be down for sure. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for sending all that over to Dom. And listen, delivery, I like how you said a limited area. A limited area is like within a mile of your place. You say you're going to Sebastopol, to Santa Rosa, and up to Healdsburg on Fridays. That's fantastic. What a way to kick off the weekend. So,
yeah, we'll bring it to you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dominic.
Thank you.
Tilted Shed. Love it.
All right.